Hey everybody, welcome to another Q&A for the San Francisco Indie Fest 2024. Today we have the filmmaker here with us. Hey Daniel,
Hey
from
there.
Beth, Jeremy, and Steve. Sweet little film. Thank you so much for making that movie. Good to have you here, Daniel.
Yep, good to be here.
So I know people probably know this, but just introduce yourself. What's your role and what's your movie?
Sure. My name's Daniel Hill, and I was the writer and director and editor of Beth plus Jeremy and Steve. Yeah, I'm in Portland, Oregon. I'm from Chicago. I don't know what else. What else should I say?
Yeah, no, that's good. Thanks for flying in all the way from Portland.
Sure.
Um, And why this movie? How did it come to be? Why'd you write this story?
Well, why did I write this story?
What's the inspiration?
I think that a couple things, things that were going on in my life as I was just yeah in terms of relationships, and also just wanting to explore uh through character and relationship and circumstance, basically human beings doing things that on the surface are easy to judge them for, but to with it in an honest way, hopefully an engaging and humorous way as well, and but to see the empathy for them and the mistakes they might make and choices they might make.
Any inspiration from real life situations?
Yeah, I always get asked that. um
But you don't have to answer
I'll
if you
just
don't
say
know.
yes.
Okay.
But I'll
Well,
leave it at that.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's very relatable. No matter what I think an audience member's relationship situation is, right? Uh, for one, just because we all, are at those ages where, whether we're young or mid-adult or older, we're navigating how to have a healthy or successful relationship, right? And
Yeah, and in terms of, I mean, it's yeah, with each other, with romantic partners, what that means. Yeah, there's just so much that goes into that, and just in our own lives too. And I think that those characters were really interesting to me for the touch points they were hitting in their lives, I guess. You know,
yeah. Well, I like that you you know use the different age groups from the high school lead our hero to the what mid 30s would you call the married couple?
yeah, I'd say so.
It just adds itself for kind of quirky moments and humor too, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, hopefully.
well, I enjoyed it, and why did you go and write this? Is this your first script, or have you written another one before?
This is my first feature, yeah. I've
And
done shorts, I've done shorts and made shorts, but this is my first full-length feature
so,
scripted.
why this kind of theme or story to explore on your first script?
Uh, I think I don't know. I think it was just kind of, I don't want to say, yeah, bleeding out of me, really. Like
All right.
it was just, I felt like I really wanted to explore this type of story. Um, I liked the challenge of it, and the exploration of it. Um, yeah, I think those are the two big things: the challenge and the exploration of it. And for this particular story, um, there's other stories too. I would want to tell, but this one in particular, I just, yeah, it seemed really ripe. It seemed really close to me as I was making it, so I could feel it pretty well for me with all those characters
Yeah.
and the different iterations. Uh,
So did it go with writing easier, if you will? Not that writing's ever easier, but if it bled out of you and you can, feel it, like, you know.
yeah, in a way, I mean, I took on a lot with it because it's my first project, and I didn't mind. I want to do, but the challenge, of course, and fun, hopefully, for I think for I would think a lot of filmmakers would agree with this, is you do have a vision and all those things, but then putting it together as a collaborative piece with other people, right? And you it's a great opportunity to grow as you make the piece, because you're working with other people, you're inspired, you want to get them inspired, and you want them to, kind of lock in to what you're doing, and get their input too as well, and uh, to further their exploration of it.
Yeah.
The So in a way, I would say it was easy, because I definitely, with all the people making it, I felt the passion was there, which is
Right.
great. It was
Right.
still hard work. There's still those 12-hour days and all that stuff, but I wanted to be there, and hopefully they did too. you
Right.
know,
Right. Yeah.
in that sense, it was easy.
Right. Well, how long was the writing process, and then how long was the filmmaking process? Would you say?
The writing process was kind of extensive. I'd say if you put it all together, it was probably a year to 2 years, maybe even
That's not
longer.
bad. That's not that's.
Yeah, and that's actually, it's probably longer. It's probably like maybe 2 to 5. Because there was an original iteration that I literally wrote on a notebook, and then I transcribed that for a proper draft, and then I probably had like 8 drafts,
Mhm.
and then I mean, I think again, one of the all of it, going through it is a fun process for me, because I really enjoy all parts of it.
Yeah.
Even in post production, the editing, I love the editing, but I love all parts of it though. And I do adhere kind of to, there's what you write, what you shoot, what you edit,
Yeah.
and
Sure.
it definitely can change throughout the process,
How
because
long was the post production process? After you.
the post production honestly was the longest, and I knew it was going to be long. I knew it was going to be this long, because this was this was actually a pre-COVID movie, but it hit
Okay.
post production in COVID, so that kind of prolonged it a little bit. So yeah, the post production process was 2 to 3 years, maybe a little longer. Yeah, something like that. Big, just getting all the elements into place.
Yeah.
Because it when we were shooting it, and production was 3 weeks, and
Okay.
then we had pickups for about another 2 to 3 weeks,
Yeah.
which was really great. Our producer Evan, who unfortunately couldn't join us, he really laid out our days nice. He really packed them full, and he was just great, very flexible. And that made that part seemed
Yeah.
pretty quickly, and we got a lot done, considering. A lot of folks were sweet here, and helped us out, and were into it. But
Where
honestly,
you
go ahead.
shot in Portland?
Yeah, all on location, all
Nice.
those locations. Yeah, I mean, Portland and Portland Metro, really. I
And let me
think,
let me ask you about that. How was filming in Portland? Did it inspire any of the storytelling?
yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a couple. Yeah, there were. What's great too. So some of the locations we shot, like the club scene, that's gone. That club got leveled about 2 months after we shot. So it's
No.
almost like a document of it. It's great, because it
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
great club. My light went out here. And so that, yeah, definitely, vibes from that. There are a couple other locations that are still around that are very, I think people in Portland would probably recognize them.
The record
Um,
store?
yeah, well, that one was, and then there's another bar that has different. It's gone through like 2 to 3 iterations since the movie we shot it. I
Mhm.
think 2, actually.
Right.
But yeah, it definitely influenced, for sure. I mean, yeah, I'd say
And
so.
how was it? Was it challenging in shooting in Portland, or the same as anywhere? Kind of indie filmmaking. You gotta be
Well,
stealth.
I mean, this is this is the only place I've shot a feature so far. I've shot shorts in other places, and I mean, it was good in its own way. Like, I've shot stuff in Chicago, and that was really great. I think the key is if you have people involved and are really into it, it makes it easy no matter where you are.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but it was really nice here. I found people extremely supportive. With some of the swimming stuff was probably the most challenging stuff to shoot, along with the club. And the swimming stuff was just white knuckled, because we were in pre-pro for that for like months and months, and it didn't come together until about literally 2 to 3 weeks before we shot the scenes. It was just because people were bowing in and bowing out, because you're working with a lot of young people who are still in school and still on, all that kind of stuff. And once we got it locked in, though, there was a lot of support, and actually some of the referees were extremely helpful because they were still reffing swim meets throughout the year after we shot, and they clued me in and said, like, hey, by the way, there's going to be more meets at this location and I'm reffing, you totally can come in. And they let us do that. They let me do that.
Oh, nice.
So I shot a lot of nice B-roll because of that,
Yeah.
And that was,
Those were complex shots with the multiple people and the audience and the swimming.
yeah. No, it was very challenging, but I think it really worked well. Again, the crew
Oh,
just did a
totally.
fantastic job.
You totally sell it. You totally think it's a real meet and everything. It
Yeah.
looks great. Looks great. Your film looks great. It's got a nice atmosphere to it. I mean, it really captures the kind of Portland vibe and the presence there. Yeah, well done on that.
Thank you.
So, and the actors seem totally into their parts and were very believable, especially your lead. Um, how'd you find him? How was that process?
So that was a fun story. So because we had an original lead that dropped out, and we were scrambling, and the lead was the son of actress who I knew very well. I'm an actor as well, which I think that helped with getting the actors on board because they all knew me. They all worked with me in different capacities, sort of, most of them. The woman, she auditioned and I knew of her, but I didn't, but I've done projects with the other two. And so going back to Lucas, who played Jeremy. So I knew him as a very young man because I used to do a live radio show. We would perform on stage with his mother, and he would show up every now and then when he was like 13, 14, 15. And once our lead dropped off, it just hit me. And this was, again, kind of weeks before we were ready to go. And I was auditioning a bunch of actors, a bunch of young actors, some, and it's a challenging role. And I hit up his mom and I was like, can Lucas audition? And she's like, yeah, I think he'd really be into it. And this was right before he was moving to London to go to school, I think, acting school. And he auditioned. He was great. And yeah, that's how we got him. So it
seemed like the first choice from the beginning. I mean,
yeah, no, he just, the other person would have been great as well. And we shot part of the way we got funding, we shot a kind of I guess they call them POCs now, but we shot a scene with the other lead in it, and Matt, who was Steve, was still in it, and he was great. But Lucas just brought he was that role. He just brought so much to it.
Yeah. Yeah, just a natural. I thought it was a great cast part. Yeah, it's just wonderful, and that's probably that's the movie gods and goddesses do that, right? It's like they want the movie to happen. They bring the pieces to you for the film, and you found it at the right time, and the swimming meets too. How did the actors get along? I mean, anytime I see like a sex scene or romantic scenes, it's like that's a challenge in itself too.
Yeah. Yeah, and they were actually, and there's stuff, because we had other intimate scenes that just we didn't need in the movie, but they were also, between the husband and wife. And, it's a lot of trust for those scenes. You have to really, you want the actors to trust you and do whatever, you almost do those scenes like choreography. I mean, I'm not the first to say this. Plenty of actors and say this, and it's true, because you want it to be very professional. You want people to understand what's needed, and you don't, it's a delicate thing doing those types of scenes. Those actors got along really great. So what was really great is that I wanted to rehearse as much as possible. Mm-hmm. And I think they really liked that and appreciated that. And so we were doing that. I was doing rehearsals with all three of them. I mostly was doing separate rehearsals for each pair. Beth with Jeremy, Beth with Steve, Jeremy with Steve, just like that. And I don't even know, we might have done one rehearsal with all three, but I think we did maybe one. Hmm. But, you kind of, it's like you want to make a really good stew. Yeah. So you want to have ingredients in place, but you don't want to overdo it, put too much in. That's kind of
as a director actor, Is it, do you always prefer rehearsal? Like, should you always have rehearsal? Like, I hear some directors say like, "Oh no, we didn't want to overcook it, right? So we didn't
Right.
do rehearsals." And other times, like, we did rehearsals and that was necessary.
I think, yeah, and I totally, so I'm an improviser by trade. That's what I did. Like I trained in Chicago and I was an improviser before I became a proper actor, which I've done theater. And so I, the way I kind of approach it is, and I totally get the thing of like, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to do too many rehearsals. The rehearsals we were doing, we were not doing script. I was just wanting them to get a kind of gist of each other.
Yeah, yeah.
They were. So I would have them do activities and things like that, not even with lines. You know,
Okay.
it was more of a rehearsal of being together.
Ah, cool.
Uh, so and they really appreciated it. It was extremely helpful. And um I did do a little bit with lines, but I specifically didn't want them to overdo lines because of that reason, because I didn't want
Ah,
them to lock it in place of what it was going to be.
right, right. So it's
um
almost like exercises of togetherness as opposed to of rehearsing lines.
in a way, because the
Yeah,
story's about, it's the relationships,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Hopefully what they say is interesting and leads to good storytelling on those things, but it is about who they are to each other. So yeah, it is, but it's that balance that was for this story, for these particular actors, because I don't think they knew each other
yeah,
necessarily, because that's a different thing if they know each other.
yeah. Well,
um
some of the I think some of the brilliant moments, or at least my favorite moments, are almost there's no dialogue. Like I love the wife and the kid dancing in the listening room or bedroom, whatever
yeah,
that.
yeah, that was
Those are
great.
sweet moments.
Yeah, no, I like that was fun. It's a lot
I
of fun.
mean,
Yeah, I love
they're
dancing. Obviously, I really do. I love dancing. I'm a DJ like I really love dancing, and I
uh,
love seeing dancing when it's like, because it's, it's one of those times where we're very free with each
yeah.
other.
I love the first dance scene, the first listening party, if you will, with those two.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just a special moment. I love the scene where they meet in the record store, which is awkward, but it's so real, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And,
I thank you. That's what we were trying to do.
right.
It's kind of, yeah, yeah,
You have lots of real moments. I think that's what we love about this film too. Whether it's because you're addressing the themes of relationship or just these two characters having these moments. Like even when he's DJing, now I see where you got the DJing inspiration from.
yeah,
And he takes a break, and the younger woman, his age or whatever, then pulls out her phone.
yeah,
he's ready for a conversation just to be in the moment, and doesn't know how to, and then that's it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think those are moments we everybody can, a lot of people can relate to.
So did you write that in the script or
Mhm.
okay?
Yeah,
And
that was in there. Yeah, well, go ahead. What were you gonna ask? Was that
now name some other maybe favorite moments, or what are some uh,
for, I mean, it's hard. There's so many things I like. Yeah, I mean, I
maybe
like.
share a funny anecdotal moment from your film where
Let's
you
see.
know
I know there's some, and I got to think of some. Funny anecdotal moments.
or the most challenging moment. It sounds like it was the swimming.
The swimming was the most challenging. There were, yeah, it's like funny. My mind is just. Oh, I can tell you. Well, this is funny to me. So, because it's all behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
So the club scene, we were supposed to have, because I'm kind of, I've lived here for a minute, so I kind of consider myself sort of connected to the town and stuff, and I think the club scene worked out great. I really do. I'm really proud of it. We originally were also going to have, a friend of a friend knew a bunch of like hardcore mod Vespa dudes who were going to show up and be at the party or
Uh-huh.
be at the club and during the dance scene. And that was probably, other than the swimming, our biggest day, where, we had a tent outside with people getting made up. It was cool. It was like, that was the day where if you showed up, it's like, oh man, this is a movie. This is a movie.
This is
It
a
was
real
great.
movie. Yeah.
And I was inside just prepping the club with the AD and the production designer and DP. We were figuring out shots and stuff. And apparently outside, these mod guys showed up, and they go in the parking lot, and there's like 20 of them, and they're all like in their cool jackets and gear, and they're on their Vespas, and they circle around like 5 times, like checking us out, and then they're just like, we're out of here, fuck this. And
Wow.
I was told they did this, and it was just like, I was just like
Yeah,
upset.
you didn't know you were auditioning.
Yeah. Apparently we were auditioning for If We're Cool Enough, and I was inside, so I didn't see any of this. I was told
Yeah.
this. It was like this whole happening, and I was really pissed. I was like, God damn it. But then I was
Right.
like, well, fuck them. We didn't need them. Like,
Right. Right.
but you know,
Exactly.
yeah.
It was probably better that they weren't. They would have had, caused high maintenance.
Yeah, who knows? So
Right.
that was funny. I mean, yeah, and I'm sure there's other stuff too. I just can't I
No,
can't.
that's a good one. Now, another thing we really like about the movie, I do at least, is the editing. Um, you edited it, right?
I did, yeah.
There's some fun editing going on too. Um, I'm trying to think of like after maybe the sex scene, wasn't there? How did you do after the sex scene? I wrote down I love after the sex scene. Like I think maybe they're all like maybe it's also a shot like it's
It's his
almost
head. You see Jeremy walking down the
it's kind
street.
of like a Scorsese shot, maybe if that's a great reference. I don't know
Yeah,
if
there
it's me, but they're
I
kind of
think
like
there's
just floating through.
Yeah, there's a tracking shot of them,
Yeah.
yeah, of him floating. I think I
And
did it
her.
here at some point. I did it with all of them in different
Yeah,
ways, but I
yeah,
think, yeah, after that I did that. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
that look great.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
Do you have a most proud moment from a favorite moment, most proud moment in your movie? Like where, man, that's exactly how I envisioned it. That's how I wrote it. I got it.
Right.
Or
There's a couple of them, uh, or a few of them, but I will say I really like the school scene when he comes into school.
mhm.
I
The father comes in, the husband comes into school.
Yeah, yeah. I like that scene because yeah, that always worked out the way I kind of wanted it to. Um, and I liked the when he shows up at his house and his mom answers the door and the interplay with the three of them. I like that a lot.
Was that
Um,
improv? Was that some improv?
that was pretty much written
Okay.
word for word. There's probably a little bit things thrown in there, but it was, yeah, it was funny. So in general, okay, because this is, as if any filmmakers watching or whatever, this was run and gun stuff. I mean, we had a extremely low budget, but we had something, but it was we just were constantly on the
Mhm.
move, and so there would be times I'm bringing this up because of the improv question, where the lead Steve, we got into an argument one time. He was fighting for the writing I originally wrote for a scene because I
Huh.
was like, we got to just move because I want to get this shot so we can. I don't know if we have time. And he was like, God damn it, let's do what you wrote because that's what's real. And it
All
was
right.
great. I was like, you're right, let's do it because that's what's so funny about when you and it's great because it's like I wrote it, so I don't mind trampling over it sometimes to just
Right.
get what we have to get when we're in the thick of it. But it felt great to have like, oh wow, what am I, I'm like having a moment of like, well, we got to do this. But at the same time, I'm really glad you like my writing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Well,
know,
and when you have crew and teammates that are for your project, right? They're you know what I mean? They're not um, ego first, or they're not selfish. They're like they're on the same page,
yeah,
for the
and I
vision.
mean, it just he really locked into that stuff, but to do it, and that's great. It's just like, yes, let's do that, But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, those are the team players you want. That are
Mhm.
gonna get it done with you.
Yeah.
So, what's like? How do you want someone to feel when they watch your movie? What's something you want an audience member to come away with?
Uh, what would I want them to come away with? It's
And not just pure entertainment, which thoroughly
yeah.
enjoyed your movie. And I'm trying to think what I came away with it from, but
Well, yeah, I'd like to hear that first.
no, this is about you. No, but well, I'll tell you
uh,
what. It has me asking questions about my relationships and remembering past relationships. I also had some that were maybe a wider age range, so reminiscing about those.
I think, yeah, I think something I'd say something as far as that of like, because I know, yeah, when you watch it, I think any kind of position like that where it does make you reflect and think what is in relationship, what is involved in one, and because I think that's something that we're, I think, always talking about, right? In a society or whatever, of like what, you know, to questioning what is one, what makes a good one. um and you know, I guess I would want people to leave with some kind of yeah, a good feeling, a strong feeling. They
Hmm.
don't even have to like it necessarily,
Right.
but if they're not going to like it, I really want them to hate it.
Well, at least
But
they got moved. They got moved by it. They were,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, something. And I mean, I say that facetiously. Of course, it'd be nice if they
yeah,
liked it,
yeah, right.
but yeah, I would say just a strong feeling. And I definitely think of like it's. I've heard this before. I've heard this a lot lately. With it, it is making people talk about that kind of stuff because you know when you see it and you see what happens in it, you're gonna, you know, it's easy to definitely have feelings about it, right?
Well,
About.
I think when your character says something about love, like people fall in and out of love all the time. I think that's
Mhm.
a. Do you believe that?
I think sometimes I think, but I think yeah, I think I
Like,
can.
do you think, and forgive me for not remembering your character's name, the kid and the wife,
Yeah, Jeremy and Beth.
they fell in love.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so, but I think that it can mean different things at different times for different people,
right.
and I think that's the rub, right? It's what you make it, you know, and at different ages, too. All those things. I think it's a nuanced thing. It's a complex thing. It's its own stew, uh, which that's why I think it's easy for people to judge a lot when they see an other couple in love or whatever.
Hmm.
You don't know what that entails. You don't know what they've went through, all those kinds of things. I don't know. I think movies in general, I can say for me, growing up, sets a certain precedence for what love is, which isn't necessarily true.
Hmm.
And I think that can be a challenge because if you don't adhere to the expression "keeping up with the Joneses," do you have to, what does that mean?
All right.
And
Yeah.
is that even fair to put on someone? I
Right.
guess I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we really enjoyed your film here at SF Indie Fest. We got time for maybe one or two more statements. Do you have anything you want to add, or that I didn't ask you to tell us about your film?
Let's see what is. Well, it's, you know, it's I just let's see, it's making the rounds. We just got a best screenplay award in Chicago
All
as of
right.
last night, which is awesome. Uh, and
Congratulations.
what's that?
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, and just I hope folks see it. You know, it should be available. And somewhat we're talking to people about how that's going to go about right now. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I'd say yeah, watch it, give it a shot.
Well, well done. Congratulations, not only on completing it, but getting into our film festival and the awards. I'm sure there's a few more to come. Um, and I look forward to meeting you in person.
Yeah, you too. Thanks a lot, Jason.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. It's been another Q&A for SF Indie Fest 2024. Check out more great independent films at sfindie.com. Bye, everybody. And where's the stop recording button? There it is.